listening to BalaCore Fitness Show here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm Ellen Como. I'm here with Oriana John. We're talking about the hurdles of fitness today. Before we went to the break, we were talking about the injuries. And Oriana has a great story about injury. Now, when you hurt your neck, you were not training with me.
No.
So I was not part of her fitness journey at that point. But let's go on. You just had a recent injury. And let's talk about that because Oriana, her body has transformed, and anyone who's ever known Oriana, I've seen her before and afters. It's incredible. I mean, she just looks she looks perfect. She was perfect before, and now she just even looks more perfect.
I wish I was perfect.
I know, don't we all wish me? But you do. In my eyes, you're perfect. So anyway, but I wanted you to tell your fitness story.
About when I slipped on, I strained the muscle in my knee, or ligament, and I couldn't do anything with that leg for like 2 months. And I had to wear a brace, but I refused to not work out. The first day I went to work out, I was a little emotional. I ended up leaving class early.
She got mad at me.
And then I texted Ellen, and then she called me, and we were over it. So she knew I had an injury, and I didn't want to stop working out. And so every class, she would say, Oriana, don't do this, do that. Mm-hmm. And after a while, I got used to the fact, you can't use your knee, but I just didn't want to have to start over again. So I was just determined to work the parts of my body that I could work and not worry about the one that I couldn't.
Yes, and that's a great, because that's a great thing to say. Because it's a lot, if you hurt your knee, and it was a strain, she had her brace, there's no reason in the world she could not work her upper body. So she'd work her upper body, and then what I would do is when she was ready, I'd give her just small things to do when other people were doing legs that were actually rehabilitation exercises to do. So she was doing rehabilitation while she was in her fitness class, and being able to work on those other body parts at full level that you are capable of, but then going into that where your knee and your other leg, and keeping the legs the same. I never do one thing with one leg and nothing with the other. Should keep it on the both sides, because you don't want to do that. I see that a lot, and it's okay to a certain extent, but if your knee is hurt and on the one leg you're doing lunges with the leg up and the other one you just don't do it because your knee hurts, that's not good. You're going to end up injured somewhere else. So whatever you do on one side, do on the other while you're recovering.
I think I've been going with Ellen for almost 2 years, and I've had different injuries, not as bad as the knee one, just something happened in class or something happened when you sneeze. And I think I've just seen her give people so many alternatives moves that I kind of have my own. Like yesterday, my knee, I was at a birthday party on Sunday, and I was dancing and jumping, and I go, I know my knees are going to kill me. Of course, it took 2 days. And so yesterday when we were doing like that squat, you saw me doing something different, because what I did different allowed me to actually do the squat and not affect, and I didn't feel the pain. Yeah,
she went back on her knees, back on her heels to get out of the knees and get into her glute. So that's exactly what she's talking about. I look over and I'm like, okay, that looks good. I've never seen that one before, but that looks great.
I was determined I don't want to give up on my leg exercise because summer's coming, And I'm like, no, knee, why? I'm going to show you I can still get to my quads and everything else.
And you were. That was a great move. That was an awesome move. I'm like, we should try this in the classroom because that's pretty cool.
It's not easy because you have to be able to balance on your heel.
You have to be able to balance, and she was doing amazing at it. But that's it too. If you're going to a class and you don't know this stuff, like she just said, I've seen enough modifications to kind of know. And if you're in a fitness class, you don't want to be blindly in a class going along and not even knowing why you're doing what you're doing. You really want to be in a class where you're really learning about your body and learning how to be in touch with your body, and you want body awareness. I've had people come to me and ask me to train them, or they want to come into my class and they don't want to know why they're doing what they're doing. Just train me. I don't even want to know what I'm doing.
Interesting.
Well, how do you, how in the world am I really going to train you to the best of my ability? And how are you going to get the results at the best of your ability if you have no idea what muscle group you're working?
Because that's what we're used to. I've taken many classes and watched many videos, and they never tell you why you're working a muscle. And if you do it this way, you will get that result versus if you do it that way. And I think I'm so used to, it will be hard for me to be in a class where they're not telling me. It feels weird now for me if I'm not told why I'm working that muscles and da 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 da. So I understand the people who don't want that, because I was kind of like that. I just here to work out. I don't need to hear you. Just tell me the move and let's keep going.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a learning curve for these people to realize it's so important and so much more beneficial if they know why and the pros and the cons.
Exactly. They always say know your why. Well, yeah, and you should need to know that about your body as well. And it's not that you won't get results. You will get results, but you won't get the results to that level unless you really know why you're doing what you're doing. Why is this move here? And then at that point, if you're going through whatever you're going through, okay, wait a minute, if you're going through an injury or something, here's your modification. This is what we can do to fix it. This is why. And as soon as they know that, then the healing process takes a lot less time as well.
And then I think you get almost 100% out of that move. The muscles, whatever you need to accomplish, you accomplish when you know why and you understand, because then you also focus more on that muscle. When you focus on the muscle that you're working, you feel it more, you work it more.
Yep.
And that's something I learned from you.
Yes, you do. And if you touch it, you actually
Yes.
feel it 20% more, which is amazing. It fires up the fibers recruit 20% more. I know that's kind of technical, but it does happen and it's amazing. So let's say injuries, just you can modify, work around. If it's a really bad injury, if like a back is something you really can't work around. You have to really listen to whoever you trust. Is it your chiropractor? Is it your acupuncturist? Is it your physical therapist? But be in partnership with them. I was talking about, I had a bad hamstring injury going on about 4 or 5 years ago, really bad. And I was trying to go it alone because this is what I do for a living. I know what to do. And it just wasn't healing as quickly as I expected or wanted or should have. So I went to physical therapy and I met up with a physical therapist. And the first time I met him, I just thought, he doesn't know anything. Like, he's not going to be able to help me. And he was a miracle worker. This man was absolutely amazing. And within 2 weeks, I cannot even tell you the difference. And then right after that, I just started healing so quickly and was right back to my regular routine. So, find somebody that you trust, and that's where you go. Some people, I talk to all different walks of, I only trust my chiropractor. And if I'm not going to tell you that's wrong, because if that's where you trust and that person has done great for you in the past, and that's who you stay with. So, find who you need to go to for some of them. My hamstring, I worked around, obviously. But if it's your back, there's no working around your back. You really, or neck.
Yeah, and I've had both lower back surgery and neck surgery, so I can tell you for sure there is no, nothing. Yeah, you can just walk very slowly. I know I've been there both times. I remember my recovery, this is not walking. I'm like shuffling.
Okay.
But I had to shuffle initially to be able to kind of walk.
Yes, you do. You have to walk before you run. You have to shuffle before you walk.
I shuffled, then I walk, and then I was able to jog. I'm not a runner, and then I would run a little, but I was a jogger.
Yes.
Jogging is like a little slower than running.
That's okay, but you were moving.
Yes. And that's what, how I started my journey back then, before I went downhill again. And I really don't want to go downhill again.
You're not going to.
really. And as long as I'm around you, and if you let me, I'm going to blame you, by the way. I am
Of course
totally
you are.
going to blame
Everybody
you.
does.
No, I am going to blame you. This is personal. If I end up anywhere back in the position I was before I met you, I'm blaming you.
Yeah, a lot of them do.
You need to find a way to pull me out of that hole when I start going
That's
down
right.
in that hole again.
And I do reach out. I reach out to the people that I'm training all the time. If I don't see them, they'll get either a text or a Facebook private message. Definitely, I feel if you're not there, I know, and I feel it, or I'll run into you in the market, and I will bring it up as well to kind of get you back in the door.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. You kind of always have to, even if you haven't seen someone for a while, kind of reach out, because maybe you don't know, they could be going through something different, they could be working out somewhere else, which is entirely everyone's personal decision, but you don't know until you ask. So your hurdle of injury, when you're coming back from an injury, it's the same thing as coming back from an illness. The first thing I will tell you to do is listen to whoever you're trusting in your injury, in your healing process. And then once they give you the A-OK, trust your body. Don't come back at 100%. And let me know, if you're in my class or whoever's class you're in, let them know I'm coming back from a B, or C injury. And sometimes I'll even walk in with instructions. Like, these are the instructions my doctor sent me with. So sometimes you'll come in with, I get those sometimes as well. And then I will take them and look at them. And there's been times I've actually called the doctors and kind of gotten some feedback.
I mean, I don't think many people in your position do that.
Yeah.
Do you have anyone who does it?
Yeah, you want to be responsible when anyone's giving you, I mean, and any teacher out there in anything that you're teaching, be it fitness or health or nutrition or math, you always want to be responsible with the information that you're giving out and making sure that you're making the most positive impact you can in the most responsible way. So yes, I'll take all that information and do what I can to make the experience better for them and to help them get results and get on the way. So injury, that's a hurdle, but it's not a hurdle you can't come back from. And then we're going to talk about a hurdle that personally that I'm going through, and I've been in fitness my whole life. And Oriana's going through it a little bit. She's going through it a lot better than I am.
I don't know what she meant by a little bit. Okay, I think I just handle it a lot better.
Yeah, she handles it better than me. I guess I'm not very good at this at all. But I've talked about this. I am becoming kind of a spokesperson for it, and I'm gladly taking on this role, and that's menopause. For women, for men, it's andropause. Men go through menopause just like women do. They just don't talk about it. And I was thinking, why don't men notice all their symptoms like we do? And because they don't have, I think, some men do. And actually, I was just listening to two men that really do, that are going through andropause, and they're going through the symptoms, and they're actually feeling the symptoms and talking about them. But a lot of men, no man out there has gone through childbirth. So they don't have the body awareness women do. Like, we go through our menstrual cycle, we go through having babies, we go through all these things where we have to have a big awareness of our bodies. Men don't go through that. So when they go through, for us, it's just another change of life. We went from puberty to menopause, to having a period, to having our children. So we're used to having changes going on. Men are not. So I think that's why they don't have the awareness or understanding that, or they don't talk about it like we do. You're never going to walk.
They don't let it affect them as much as, I don't know how to put it, like, yes, it's horrible. Like, when we came in here initially and she noticed that I was having a real bad hot flash. Yes. I mean, I was having another one again, just a few minutes. And I was very calm. A lot of women were like, but I just said, relax. Usually I do deep breathing, but I was telling her I can't do it because it's going to sound weird on the microphone. But that's how I deal with it. And I really and truly hate those hot flashes. Sometimes I'm sitting and I'll just suddenly feel like there's a flame in the back of me on my back. Mm-hmm. And then it just gradually works its way to the front. And I don't always sweat. Sometimes I sweat. When it's really that hot, I don't sweat. The ones that you saw just now, it was hot, but I was sweating more.
You're sweating.
The one from that starts in my back, it's a dry one, I know.
So you have a dry hot flash and you have a sweaty hot flash. So see, you're getting to know your hot flashes. That's like major body awareness you're listening to. Now with me, I get like a jolt. I'll be sitting there and all of a sudden I just get this nauseous jolt that just boom, boom. And then all of a sudden I'm in a hot flash. So, menopause is no joke. I've been saying that for a while and I'll keep saying it. It's no joke. It's a hurdle if I've never had one. And I've got there's a 3-prong approach to menopause, the hurdle of menopause. You, of course, are going to fight these symptoms and not fight them per se as like kind of get your sword out and take them out. But I think you need to fight them as far as finding a way to alleviate the amount of hot flashes or the length of the hot flashes or how hot it is. And sometimes I go months and I forgot I'm going through menopause, and then suddenly out of the clear blue sky it happens, and I know it's your diet. And
sometimes the same thing that affects me and I have a hot flash, I don't have a hot flash. So it doesn't really, like coffee, I can drink it, or hot pepper and nothing. And then other times, if I happen to have had any of those just before a hot flash, yeah, it is not a hot flash. It's on fire.
Yes. Well, and that too could be the hormone going up and down,
Yeah.
that normal up, and down as you're going through these changes. And the one thing that I noticed too, and it is being in front of a group of 25, 30 women and teaching them a fitness class, and I go into a major hot flash. I'm like, really, right now? Because it's already hot, I'm already sweating, now I have a hot flash on top of it. So it is it's very uncomfortable. And then trouble sleeping, there's trouble sleeping too. So you might not have the energy to work out. And so that's probably, and then there's one that I started to get very, very concerned about personally for me. And then with all my research, I found out it's extremely normal. When you are going through menopause and when men are going through andropause, this is both. Now, men don't have hot flashes like women do. Men have the weight gain. They might have their mood swings, believe it or not, are different than women's mood swings. Women can have mood swings where they go from 0 to 100, angry, and now they're fine, and then they're crying, and then they're this and they're that. So that's the one thing I've been kind of blessed not to have, is the mood swings per se. But men's hot flashes, men's mood swings actually make them, I would say, more emotional and more sensitive than normal. Things that didn't bother them before now bother them. They bother them not in an angry way, but in a very sensitive way. So they do have the mood swings. And men and women alike get the same thing while they're going through andropause and through menopause, and that is extreme fatigue. Now, I've never battled with fatigue before. I'm battling with fatigue sometimes where I'm literally getting ready to go back to the gym to teach a class, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't even know how I'm going to stand up through this class to teach it because my fatigue is that bad.
I'm so glad I don't have that one.
Yeah.
Even when I started and I had started to lose weight, my OBGYN said, wow, it's weird. Nobody lose weight going through menopause. That's the first time I ever heard something like that. And I'm like, okay, I didn't know that, but...
See, and you can, because like my weight is staying the same, and I lose weight while I'm going through it. So that was the one thing when I started going through menopause, and everyone said, "Oh, you're going to gain that 6 to 10 pounds."
But I don't understand, why do you gain weight going through menopause? Is it just because of the chemical changes in your body, or is it because people start eating differently, or working out less?
I think they're fatigued.
Okay.
So when you're fatigued, what do? You eat.
Oh, okay. So that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Okay.
So I think the reason why I think there is some chemical imbalances going on in the body and your hormones that do lend to the menopause. But gaining weight and the menopause are two different things as well. You could not gain a pound and still have your little menopause going. So you have that little extra. Now men get the andropause, women get the menopause. And you'll see a woman, she might not gain 1 pound, but she'll have that little stomach that she never had before. And that's the swelling. It's very normal. That does go away. It's a swelling of the internal organs before they shrink. So it's totally normal. And I'm saying it very, 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 I'm dumbing it down quite a bit. But if a doctor's listening to me right now, he's probably thinking, what is she saying? But I'm just kind of dumbing it down so you understand, like a short version. And the same thing happened. Men don't go through that quite like we do. But they tend to get their spare tire, And so I think a lot of it with women is really going through the different hormone changes and the extreme fatigue. And a lot of women get get a lot of anxiety and get very stressed. So what do women do when they get stressed and they're under anxiety? They eat or they drink wine. So both those things make you gain weight.
I'm so weird.
Right, exactly. But both of those things
I'm stressed. I don't want to eat. I have to force myself to eat.
Both those things are going to make you gain weight. And sugar is a big starter. It's like a fire. It's a fire starter of hot flashes. And when you understand that, it's kind of when you start learning these things that, oh my gosh, so chocolate's going to bring on a hot flash. It's kind of you stay away from it, and you almost have to yeah.
Oh, I hate chocolate, so that's good.
That's good. Yeah, there almost has to be a bargain with yourself too. It's like, okay, I'm willing to get this hot flash over this glass of wine. I mean, there needs to be a bargain there because you know it's coming. But it's a big hurdle. We're going to be right back. We need to take a brief break right now, but we're going to be right back. This is Ellen Como with my guest Oriana John, and you're listening to BalaCore Fitness Show on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Welcome back to the BalaCore Fitness Show here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. This is Ellen Como. I'm here with Oriana John. We went into break talking about something, a hurdle that we're both kind of going through right now. And a lot of us, I share this with a lot of other people, men and women, is menopause and andropause with fitness. And I've been in fitness most of my life. I've never ever gone into a class where my body just won't respond in the way it's supposed to until lately. There's so many symptoms that I have boiling up that I never thought I'd have before. So I would call that a definite hurdle in fitness. And we talked about a few of the things that we go through, the hot flashes, the not getting sleep at night. I mean, I'll be sleeping at night and all of a sudden I get that nauseous burst of whatever that is, and then poof, I'm soaking wet. And then extreme fatigue to the point where I'm getting ready to go teach a class, and I'm like, how am I even going to teach this class? I can barely stand up myself. By getting there and starting, exercise is one of the most important things you can do for your body, your mind, your soul, your everything while you're going through menopause, especially, and andropause if you're a man. So if you're not working out and you're a man or a woman and you're going through menopause, I would start as soon as possible. It's one of the main things. Nutrition is another one, that's for another day, but today we're talking about actual fitness. We're talking about exercise, and it's the best thing. If you are not doing anything and you are going through menopause or andropause, I want you today to get outside and walk for 20 minutes. That's it. Just go walk 20 minutes. You're going to feel better. Make sure you're getting plenty of water so you're not dehydrated. Go ahead at night tonight when you're eating, look at what your plate looks like. Like I said, we didn't talk about a lot of nutrition today. What does your plate look like? Do you have a protein? Do you have greens? Do you have some fruit? Now, I'm eating a lot more fruit than I've ever eaten. And I find why I'm eating that fruit is it's really helping me with my fatigue because it's a natural sugar. So one of my favorite things to do about 3:00 p.m. every day, when usually that extreme fatigue just completely overtakes me, is I take a cup of frozen cherries, dark frozen cherries. I take a cup of organic frozen mango, and I take about 1 inch square of fresh ginger peeled and cubed, and I throw it into my bullet and I make myself a smoothie. Now, by doing that, and there's water in there too. I use water as well for the liquid. And I have to say, the natural sugars, the ginger settles my stomach, and the natural sugars kind of lift me up and give me some natural energy to get through the rest of my day. So that's a real natural approach to trying to get through the fatigue. But the fatigue is real, I will tell you. Menopause, andropause, they're not a joke. These are really big hurdles that we're climbing right now. The good news is they don't last forever, they go away. And the other bit of good news about them is we're creating a different body awareness than we've ever had before. And where we could get away with things that weren't good for our body before, we can't get away with those anymore. So it forces us to live a healthier lifestyle. So that's another thing that we can look at and try to find the positive in all of this negative. With men, I noticed they struggle with the same self-esteem issues as women do when they're going through this. They struggle with the fact that their skin doesn't look the same. They struggle with the fact that they can't lose the weight they used to. Their muscles don't look the same that they used to. They're not sleeping like they used to, and they're getting tired and falling asleep really early in the evenings. So they're struggling with all of that. We're struggling with the hot flashes, the mood swings, with the extreme fatigue, with the night sweats. So we both have our versions that we're struggling with. And if you are with a partner who is struggling, whether you're a woman or a man, and you're with a partner who is struggling with this, maybe it's your husband, maybe it's your wife, have patience with them. They're going to be a little bit more forgetful. They might not be able to have the energy that they had before to do some of the things that they used to be able to do. It will go away. It will all go back. It will be normal. It won't be the same. It'll be great. It'll probably be better when it's done, but have a little patience, and have patience with yourself as well. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't stand in front of the mirror in a complete depression because your body doesn't look the same way it did before. I think you need to celebrate all the great things about yourself and all the great value you have and the things that you have to offer the world. Don't get locked up in all of the outside appearances, and just know that you're doing the very, very best you can. So I want to thank you for coming, Oriana. I want you to come back. We have so much to talk about when it comes to fitness and beauty and all kinds of things. We could just talk forever. And I want to thank everyone for listening. And I just want to say, whatever fitness hurdle you are struggling with, you can get over every single hurdle. There's not a hurdle you cannot overcome. There's so many people that wish they could work out and they really, really can't for a lot of different reasons. You can. So take advantage of it and do the best you can for your day. Everyone have a great day today. I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Okay, bye.